rebuilt home after Hurricane Sandy only to have it torn down. Editor's note: CNN's Rose Ars first told Ryan Panetta's story last year on CNN Schools of Thought educating blog. Ars recently revisited the Panetta family to see how they have fared in the years since Superstorm Sandy struck the northeastern United States. Or Channel New York CNN. Power lines crackled in the solid black night as the Atlantic Ocean rushed ashore. A sandy strip of a neighborhood called Boer Channel was about to go underwater. We're, we're gonna drown if this goes any higher, Karen Panetta remembers yelling to her 4 children. Superstorm Sandy hit a year ago this week, shocked this tiny community with its force. On one side of Boer Channel, the ocean poured through homes and met Jamaica Bay on the other side. The Panetta's home was right in the middle, but one glimmer of hope emerged from that dark and scary night. A hero was born. I jumped into the water and went for help, said Ryan Panetta, 13 at the time. He swam like a little fish to the neighbor's home looking for people. His mother remembers how the little kids were screaming with fear. She pulled them top a bed out. The water was rising too high. Ryan finally found someone on the second floor of the neighbor's house. He swam back with them forward and the breeze, he said, not even thinking about what I'm doing but just about my family. Everyone got out alive. They laughed after that he'd made time to pull on his swim trunks. It's hard to explain how you feel about your son after that, Karen said a year later. I'm so proud of him, even more after that he's endured everything. Ryan exploits have become a footnote to his endurance, a high point at the beginning of his journey from heroism to heartache. In the day after Sandy, he and his family educated to temporary housing an hour away in downtown Brooklyn. His historic community was a wreck. Boer Channel has been home to New York's rescue workers, firefighters, police, military, and medical. For generations, getaway neighborhood of beach bungalows converted into permanent homes. It sits along the Rockaway Peninsula, which just into the Atlantic Ocean with majestic views of Manhattan's signature skyline. D.D. Raymond, who combined the beaches here as a child, famously sang about Rockaway Beach. The sun is out, I want some. It's not hard, not for the rich. We can hitch a ride to Rockaway Beach. In the day after Sandy crashed ashore, the sun did seem out of reach. The historic community was awash with water from a bay, an ocean, and even a massive sewage treatment plant that overflowed into Ryan's school. Scholar academic, it was one of the worst hit among the 1,750 schools so badly damaged by Sandy that the New York City school system, the nation's largest, closed for several days for the first time in recent memory. Immediately after the storm, Ryan's house looked fine from the outside, though the boat had floated onto the adjacent lawn. But inside, a lifetime of memories were soaked with salt water. The foundation was soggy and the walls were quickly crawling with mold. A family home rebuilt, then destroyed. Despite the damage, it was the Panetta's family lifelong home, so they began rebuilding at once. The family moved to the temporary apartment in Brooklyn where Ryan and his 2 brothers and sisters would rise before dawn for a trip to the closest school bus stop, where private bus companies had been enlist to fill in for the 300 lost in the storm. A half hour later, the children were sitting in workroom and editoriums and even hallways, cramming into very available space in already crowded schools around the city that had welcomed 73,000 displaced kids. When school wrapped at 3 p.m., they would make an hour-long commute to their wooden home, pulling out dirty wet clothes, unless appliances of and furniture and photo memories and would never be recovered. The Panetta family wasn't alone. More than half the scholars' academic students had also lost homes. Even the principal and many of the teachers, it was heartbreaking to watch that kid and so many others, said Principal Brent O'Connell, who also lost his home, but they remained so resilient. 7 years to rebuild Scholars Academic, 50 minutes to destroy it. It's just too much, Rand said one day, breaking into tears at his desk in the temporary school. The teachers did their best to not miss a beat, but scattered friends and families, lost notebooks and lost books crippled and learning process for Ryan. He feared he might not keep up. Then 2013 rolled around and Ryan had the best day ever when a Scholars Academy reopened, with students wearing t-shirts emblazoned with the words "Rockaway Resilient," with the opt camp down 6 months after Ryan and his family started banging away at new walls supported the installing drywall in their wooden home. The city condemned the house and the menacing clumps of a giant excavator chewed Ryan's birthplace to pieces. I would want to be here to see it, but I didn't know what's going to be so tough, said Ryan as Machinery put an end to efforts to save their family home. Sandy Bring Down Home's family vowed to be back. As the family began the process of building a new home on their own vacant lot, the obstacles they faced were substantial. The city required us to have 2 streets in place for a year before we could start unless we got an exemption. The new flood maps require us to build 10 feet over the sidewalk with at least a 5-foot foundation with flood vents, Karen Panetta said. New flood maps issued by the Federal Emergency Management Agency aim to prepare for another big storm by stepping up building requirements in areas likely to flood. New homes had to be built higher and stronger, and the Panetta family was among those who didn't know where they would get the money. The Panettas were among the New Yorkers who applied for assistance from the federal Build It Back program. The federal government had allocated $648 million through the city for housing, but almost none of the money has reached the 24,000 people who registered for the program. This week, the federal government allocated another $650 million to the program and announced the first reception. They are taking such a long time, and we are $100,000 sort of money to rebuild, said Karen Panetta, her voice cracking with frustration. We're going to put up whatever we can put up, rebuild whatever we can, grab money, paycheck to paycheck, she said. We can't wait. We want to come home. A new beginning. Plan A for the Panetta is to buy an inexpensive modular home, which comes without a kitchen, flooring, or appliance. That is why we opt for things we would run out of money, and we wanted to at least get a home rebuilt, Karen Panetta explained. It is those things along with front steps and back steps that we will have to still work on, along with the plumbing and electrical hookups. She said the family has spent additional funds to meet the new building codes, including having a fire sprinkler system inside the house and the other prices extras that they did not expected when they filed with their insurance after the storm. The house has to be Energy Star rated, which was an increase in the cost to rebuild as well. All things not taken into consideration when the insurance company is paying out, she said. They hit another hurdle this week when the city rejected their architect plans. The family believes a few revisions will get them approval. They are living in rented houses paid for by an assistance program. Karen Panetta said she avoids visiting the spot where they used to live, an empty lot punctuated by a single mailbox. The children have only gone back once in many months to pose for a picture for this article. All that we can hope for this is that the storm like this never comes this way again, she said. The only things I'm sure of is that me and the kids will never ever be in this home again when a storm is on the way. Ryan, now 14, expresses his frustration to his family daily, even as he brings home high grades and a perfect attendance record. He set up his own paper route and signed up 38 customers, insisting that it would help his family with money. He wants his home back just like we all do, Karen Panda said. I truly thought things would move quicker. There are days when we are just angry at the whole system and think something has just failed us. Then, just as she and her husband and children began to fall into a state of dark despair, their glimmer of hope shines again. Ron was recently awarded a Medal of Honor from the Boy Scouts of America, something given rarely. It was to applaud him for risking his life to save others. They posted a video on YouTube about his exploit. The motto is "Be prepared," said Ryan, which really helps because you never know what life is going to throw at you or what one teenage boy will throw back. California sues hot sauce company over chili odors. California town sues hot sauce company over chili odors. Los Angeles. A small Southern California city has sued the maker of the popular Sriracha brand hot pepper sauce, saying tear-inducing odors emanating from this chili processing plant in town are creating a public nuisance. Windows officials said the plan to ask the Los Angeles County judge on Thursday for a court order forcing Hog Farm Foods to immediately halt production of Sriracha, pronounced Sriracha, as its chili factory while review of the sauce continues. The lawsuit, filed on Monday, said the company has denied a problem exists and refused to take an action to abate fumes powerful enough to prompt some residents to move outdoor activity indoors and even to vacate their residences temporarily to seek relief. Since mid-September, Irwin Notes, about 20 miles east of Los Angeles, has received numerous reports from residents complaining of strong offensive chili odors that cause eyes and throat irritation and headache, the suit said. City officials said they have met twice with company executives and the city's the form of violating public nuisance ordinances or to no avail. The company declined requests by realtors to comment on the dispute, but Han Feng Food owner David Trump told local public radio station KPCC this week that he has installed filters on rooftop vents at the factory that he said absorb about 90% of the chili and garlic odors from the processing exhaust. To filter 100%, I haven't found any engineer can do it, Tran said. City Manager John Davison said our windows officials consulted with an environmental chemist who toured the factory this month and devised the filtering system that should address 99% of the issue. But he acknowledged it would cost as much as 600,000 to build, purchase, and install. Tran, the ethnic Chinese immigrant from Vietnam, founded his company in Los Angeles in 1980 and opened a plant in the neighboring town of Rosemead a few years later. He recently opened an Ireland facility to expand his capacity. According to the Los Angeles Times, the company produced up to 200,000 bottles of hot sauce a day and sold more than 60 million worth last year. A red-colored sriracha hot chili sauce sold in clear plastic bottle with a green cap, a trademark Lobster logo. It's made from locally grown jalapeno peppers, garlic, and other ingredients. It ranked as Tran's leading product. In recent years, it has grown into one of the top-selling bottle sauce in the United States as Spicy International Cuisines has explored its popularity with salsa replacing ketchup as America's #1 condiment. Sriracha, celebrated as the ingredient of the year of 2010 by Bon Appetit magazine, has inspired cookbooks, a food festival, a movie documentary, and a potato chip flavor. Tran told the Los Angeles Times he has done the best he could to control fumes from his plant and that the pungent quality of his chilies makes for the better sauce, saying, if it doesn't smell, we can't sell. Pumpkin carving passion keeps the trick-or-treaters lined up. Pumpkin carver extraordinaire Mark Radcliffe upped his game when he tired of Halloween trick-or-treaters seeing his simple design and lamenting, I saw the pumpkin 2 blocks over. Those commonplace triangle-nosed jack-o'-lanterns with toothy grins. See you later. Hello, Captain America, Yoda, and Van Gogh's Starry Night. Since the late 90s, Radcliffe has carved increasingly complex and difficult designs that showcase cartoon characters, mythological creatures, and rock stars. He has carved about 100 pumpkins, each taking about 3 to 8 hours, and the effort has paid off. I love watching people's faces light up when they are looking at them, the 47-year-old Clarkson Midge resident says. By having such a broad range of subject matter carved, I get adults awing over The Shining, while teens would all over the Joker, only to have a little girl get excited to see Tingle Bell. Radcliffe began carving more detailed and time-intensive designs by using stencil patterns sold by companies like Pumpkin Masters. He then discovered a website that features patterns and messaging boards that nurtured carving communities where enthusiasts could share the tips and tricks. He knows two in particular, stoningkins.com and carvingpumpkins.com. The community of jack-o'-lanterns carved is very open in sharing tips and answering questions. There are a lot of tips and tricks. Among his favorite creations, Norse mythology Loki, a mummy who's discovered he's out of the toilet paper, Van Gogh's Starry Night, a Dark Queen, and entitled Vampire's Kiss. He shared his work and insight with Yahoo News this week. In 2005, he started recreating his own patterns, and all of his designs since 2006 are original. His most difficult was The Ghost, a 2008 featuring of a winged and tattooed skeleton-like figure who's clutching a skull. It was completely cut through with no shading to keep it from falling apart. One slip of the drill or the knife would have destroyed the entire pumpkin. And the Silvery Moon Fairy from 2006, for instance, demanded more than 8 hours just to adapt an original Jessica Galbraith painting to the point where he could carve the image. But it's worth it. He said the design started a trend of carving fairies. Raleigh explains that the darker orange is where a thicker portion of the pumpkin skin remains. The lighter the color, the more he's carved away the thin, thick pumpkin. For the most part, he says, I designed my pumpkins with 3 colors in mind: dark orange, black, light orange, and yellow. His tool of choice is the Dremel with a 132-inch drill bit that allows him to work fine details into his pumpkin. But he also employs the typical tools of the trade: X-Acto knives, speedballs, and clay tools that can be found at most hobby shops. Redleaf has increasingly turned to foam pumpkins rather than the real things, so his work won't stand and run by early November. I love to put myself, he said, to see how elaborate a design I can come up with and still be able to carve it. Buddy comedy Las Vegas hit jackpot with senior star Whittage. Las Vegas Oscar winner actor Morgan Freeman has the conundrum at 76 years of age. He gets plenty of job offers, but the roles tend to be serious, and they only budget more serious roles. I would do anything that got me out of gravitas, said the actor, who has played the likes of prison inmate in 1994's The Shawshank Redemption and Nelson Mandela in 2009's Invictus, over a prolific career. So when the script for senior body comedy Las Vegas wrote his way, Freeman snapped it up, and so did 3 more of Hollywood's top actors: Robert De Niro, Michael Douglas, and Kevin Kline. In what turned out to be an embarrassment of casting riches for a film of somewhat modest means, it opens in the U.S. theaters on Friday. Incredibly, considering that their long and varied careers, the 4 had never worked together and had barely socialized. Between professional career and this and that, we know each other and say hi, but we didn't have the intimacy that you are witnessing, Douglas says, joking alongside his 3 co-stars while promoting the film at Las Vegas Casino. The 4 said they were drawn to the film by the prospect of working with each other and by the material a script that shakes off the senior cobwebs. Douglas, 1969, is Billy, a hotshot Malibu lawyer about to marry a much younger woman. De Niro, 70, plays Paddy, who holds himself in his Brooklyn house after his wife's death. Freeman is Archie, who has suffered a stroke and chafes under his overprotected son cares. Klein, 66, is Sam, a bored Florida retiree who gets permission and a dose of Viagra from his wife to have a fling in Vegas. Brought together for Billy's bachelor party, they stop talking about the protest and heart problems and turn to gambling, heavy drinking, flirting, dancing, clubbing, bikini contest judging, and winning over a Las Vegas crowd skewed toward youth. They also work out their issues, including did rivalries dating back to their days as boyhood friends from Brooklyn. It brings to mind another recent Sin City buddy filmed, The Hangover. Although this version is for the patient calling sensible shoes toting geriatric set. For director John Turturro, the four actors' wealth of dramatic experience was a key to making a comedy work. The balance of drama and comedy and emotion and humor is everything because they justifies the other's existence, he said. That's what a cast gives you. Not just that they are funny, but you believe in the dramatic stories they have. No career anxiety. The movie from CBS Films, a unit of CBS Corp, has received mixed reviews, although many critics expected it will be crowd pleaser like many of the recent raunchy friendship comedies. Variety called it as creaky as a arthritic kid, while The Hollywood Reporter said the royal flush of actors delivers the winning hand. Made for $28 million, it is expected to earn $15 million in US and Canada ticket sales in its debut weekend. According to film sales forecaster BoxOffice.com, the film also features Oscar-winning actress Mary Steenburgen, who plays Latin lifelong singer Diana and is object of desire of both Billy and Paddy. She said that being in their 16s and 17s made for some unique chemistry on set. It's very different if we had all been together when we were much younger, said the 16-year-old Steenburgen. We were thinking about our next job or how it is going to affect my career. We were just enjoying the moment. Steenburgen and De Niro was incredibly dear and touching. Douglas was so encouraged about doing a great job, and Klein was our beautiful, magical, theatrical clown, and the elder statesman, Freeman. You say anyone who walked past him got weak in the knee, of any age, she said. Morgan is definitely the chick Morgan of the bunch. Freeman, however, wants to set the record straight. I'm drawn to chicks rather than drawn to me, he said. It's that time of year again. You are still lamenting the end of summer when suddenly you wake up to realize that Halloween is just days away, or in this case, the weekend before a dismally placed Wednesday Halloween is just days away, and you're without costume and without time or crush. Lucky for you, we've got you covered in the costume department with some cheap, easy, and impactful Halloween get-up of music star past and present. A self-proclaimed DIY expert, I thought I'd pass along some or my crafty, kind of crappy, but penny pinched tarot will get you stood up for the debauchery of the Halloween weekend. There is something here for everyone. My goal for this costume would be cheap as possible. Complete under an hour and avoid Halloween costume stores at all costs to save you the last-minute shopping riots. Most of the material are things you probably already have around the house, or could easily borrow from friends, family members, worker office, dumpsters, or have you cost-free. And to crank that meager investment to 11, I've got some bonus and ideas to make your costume really pop along with Gets Up and or two, even three costumes at one. Who doesn't love a good mid-party outfit change? People who need to sit down to a good season of RuPaul's Drag Race, that's who.